If you're still using SUMIFS, COUNTIFS, and a dozen filters just to summarize your data, you're doing in 20 minutes what Excel can do in 2. This is the pivot table, built specifically to turn raw rows of data into a real report, without writing a single formula. By the end of this video, you'll build one from scratch and never go back to manual summaries. A pivot table takes raw, row-by-row data, like a list of every sales transaction, and lets you summarize it instantly. Total revenue by region, average units by product, count of orders per salesperson, any combination, just by dragging fields around. Here's the real distinction from what you already know. VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP find and retrieve specific values. Formulas like SUMIFS and COUNTIFS can summarize data too, but you write and maintain a separate formula for every breakdown you want. A pivot table replaces all of that. You build the summary by dragging, not typing, and if your question changes, you just drag again instead of rewriting a formula. Let's build one from nothing. My data has one row per sale, date, region, product, salesperson, units, revenue. I click anywhere inside it, go to Insert, Pivot Table, and Excel automatically detects the full range. I'll place it on a new sheet and click OK. Right now this is just an empty grid with a field list on the right. That field list is every column header from my data, and building the report is just dragging these into 4 boxes: filters, columns, rows, and values. Let's drag region into rows. Instantly, every region appears as its own row. Now revenue into values, and Excel sums it by region automatically. Want to break that down further? Drag product into columns, and now you've got a full matrix: region down the side, product across the top, revenue in every cell. And if I want to filter this whole report down to one salesperson without deleting anything, that's what the filters box is for. Drag salesperson up there. And now there's a drop-down that filters the entire report in place. By default, value sums numbers, but that's just the default, not the only option. Right-click any number in the report, go to Value Field Settings, and you can switch to Average to see typical revenue per sale, Count to see how many transactions happened, or, this one's underused, Show Values as Percentage of Column Total, which turns raw revenue into this region, is 34% of total sales without a single formula. Here's a genuinely underused feature: grouping. Drag date into rows, and Excel gives you one row per exact date, which is way too granular. Right-click any date, choose Group, and pick months and quarters. Now your daily transaction data instantly becomes a monthly and quarterly trend report. This works on numbers too. Right-click a numeric row and group revenue into custom bands, like under 1,000, 1,000 to 5,000, and above, turning individual transactions into a distribution you can actually read. Filters work, but slicers are the visual, click-friendly version. Go to Insert, Slicer, tick Region and Product, and now there are buttons you can click to filter the whole report, and it's obvious at a glance what's currently selected. For dates specifically, use a timeline instead. Insert Timeline, and you get a draggable bar you can slide across months or quarters. This is what makes a pivot table actually feel like a dashboard instead of a static table. One more thing, quickly, with your pivot table selected, go to Insert, PivotChart, and pick any chart type. It's linked directly to your pivot table, so when you change what's in rows or values or click a slicer, the chart updates automatically. I'm not going deep into chart design here. That's its own video, but know this exists, and it takes 30 seconds to set up. The most common pivot table problem isn't really a pivot table problem. It's a source data problem. If your raw data has blank rows in the middle, merged cells, or inconsistent column headers, your pivot table will either miss rows or throw everything into one blank category. And second, pivot tables don't auto-update when your source data changes. If you add new rows, right-click the pivot table and hit Refresh, or better, turn your source range into an Excel table first by pressing Ctrl-T, so new rows get picked up automatically. Formulas like VLOOKUP and XLOOKUP are how you retrieve and match data. That's a skill you still need. Pivot tables are how you summarize and report on it once you've got it. If you haven't watched those videos yet, they are linked right there, and together with this one, that's most of what you need for real Excel reporting work. Subscribe if this helped, and tell me in the comments, what report do you currently build manually that a pivot table could replace? Next up, I'm going to take everything from these 3 videos and build a full one-page dashboard. That's coming soon, and it's linked on screen now.